Hi, I'm Kelly with CitrusCycles.ca. This is the Nevo e-bike from the German company Riese Muller. They're custom assembled by hand in Germany, and this one just arrived yesterday. I'm going to go through all of the features of this bike and do a short ride test for you in this video. I rode it yesterday, and it is a fantastic bike. It's really one of those bikes that you kind of have to ride to understand how amazing it is. So, visit our website at CitrusCycles.ca or give me a call at 1-888-342-0102 and you can schedule an appointment to try it here in Ladysmith, or we'll come to you anywhere on Vancouver Island or the Lower Mainland. Of course, we can ship it for free anywhere in Canada, and if you get us to ship it, the nice thing about this bike is it has been fully set up at the factory before they send it over to us. So all you have to do is install the pedals and rotate the handlebars, inflate the tires, and ride. You're ready to go. They actually ship it with the front wheel installed, fenders, rack, everything's all installed and configured. So as you can see, this is actually a true step-through frame. You can see it's got a nice wide and low step point here, making it really easy to get on and off. This, of course, is the red. It's available also in midnight blue or white. Comes in two sizes, the 47 centimeter, which is this one, and a 56 centimeter. And there's also two models. There's the touring model that comes in at $52.89, and that has a 10-speed Shimano Dior XT derailleur and chain. You can upgrade to the Nuvinci edition. That has the Nuvinci continuously variable hub, which you can see on the rear here, and it also has a Gates belt drive instead of a chain. Well worth the upgrade. That extra $580, you can definitely save money by spending that, because you won't have to replace your chain, derailleur, and cassette every few thousand kilometers like you normally would when you go with a traditional bike. So you do that a few times, and you've definitely paid for the upgrade to the Nuvinci and the belt. And you're getting the riding benefits, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. I'm going to explain why I love that hub and the Gates belt drive. But first, let me talk about the frame a little bit. I do love this frame style. It is a true step through. It makes it really easy to get on and off. You can just lift your leg up and climb right on. It's very easy to get on, very easy to get off. It's ideal if you're commuting or you ride anywhere where you're frequently having to start and stop, because it's really easy to just kind of hop right off and plant your feet firmly on the ground. If you have mobility issues, this is an ideal bike for you. If you just like to ride with a skirt, well, this is a great bike. If you need to hop on and off frequently and you don't want to change your clothes, or you don't have to throw your leg over the bike, or you want to put a lot of stuff on the rack here and you don't want to have to lift your leg over all of that, again, it's an ideal bike. You can just step right through. So it's very easy to get on and off. And it's one of those bikes that's so accessible, it's just so easy to just jump on and ride and have fun. In fact, it's really ideal for anyone that isn't doing some serious mountain biking. You can do light trails. It has good wide tires here. You can see, I'll talk about the tires in a few minutes. We've got a front suspension fork as well, which makes it trail capable. And so don't be fooled by the step through, because it actually is a very capable bike, and you could definitely do some light trail riding with it. Another thing that I love that Riese Muller has done is, you can see they put the battery right here. It's a 500 watt-hour battery, and they've put it so that it's centered the weight right over the middle of the bike, along with the motor. And I'll talk about the Bosch Performance CX in a few minutes. And again, it's all that weight is in the middle of the bike, which makes it really manageable. I prefer that over to having a battery on the rear rack, because that does move your weight to the back, and then if you're adding weight to the rack as well, then you might notice that extra weight on the rear. But when you have the battery in the middle like that, it makes it really very manageable. So one of the reasons why I think that the Riese Muller bikes are such a great value is because they really include the best of everything on their bikes. So we have the Bosch mid-drive, and that's really one of the best and well-known e-bike drive systems on the market. And this is the best of the Bosch systems. That's the Performance Line CX. So it gives you more power and more torque for hill climbing. It also has the newest and best battery. Like I said, this is a 500 watt-hour battery that gives you 25% more range than the 400 watt-hour batteries that are often found on other e-bikes. So I love the mid-drive system because it is a very natural feeling ride. The part of that's because it's driving the chain, or in this case, it's actually driving the belt. You can see the belt with the teeth on it there. And so what that means is it is a more natural feeling because that's how you pedal a bike. The chain or the belt moves the wheel. And whereas a rear hub motor turns the wheel, and so it feels not quite the same. It's the type of thing, again, you just got to ride them and compare them and you'll see what I'm talking about. A mid-drive also means that the motor uses the mechanical advantage of your cassette or of your hub. In this case, we've got a hub, but if you had a cassette on there, your motor is actually using the mechanical advantage of that to help you climb hills. It's kind of like the transmission in a vehicle. When you shift to an easier gear for hill climbing, your motor is taking advantage of that. As I mentioned, I also like the fact that the weight is centered instead of in the wheel. And a mid-drive system like this Bosch Performance Line CX also makes more efficient use of your battery, so you can get longer distances out of your battery. Now, of all the mid-drives, I really like the Bosch system. One of the reasons why I like it so much is it measures your torque, that is how much force you're putting on the pedals. It measures your cadence, that is how fast your legs are moving. And it also measures how fast the bike is moving. You can see we've got a speed sensor right here and a magnet down here on the wheel that actually measures the speed of the bike. It calculates those 1,000 times per second to calculate how much power it should give you based on which of the 4 levels of assist you've selected. So if you come and ride one, I think the way you'll describe it is it's like it's reading your mind. In other words, if you're in a tricky situation, you're going up a hill around a tight corner, it's going to give you exactly the amount of power you need to make it to where you want to go. And not too much power that you miss the corner and end up in the river, like I almost did when I first started riding e-bikes many years ago. With the Bosch system, you don't have to worry about that. So let's take a look at the display system, and then I'll step you through some of the rest of the features on the bike. So to power the bike on, we've got the Intuvia display here. We just hold the power key here. That'll turn it on. Up at the top here, you can see we've got a 5-segment battery display showing me how much power I've got left in my battery. To the right, it shows me the current level of assist, and that level of assist can be controlled by using the remote pad here. There's the plus or minus buttons to adjust that. So if I press the plus, you can see it moves up to Sport and all the way up to Turbo. There are 4 levels of assist, so we've also got Tour and we've got Eco. To the right of where it displays the current level of assist is actually going to show you a graph when you're riding, showing you how much power the motor is providing to you. Of course, you've got your current speed here and a trip computer down at the bottom. You can cycle through the trip computer using the I button on the display, or also over here on the remote pad. And so I've got the trip distance, I have a clock, I have the maximum speed for this ride, the average speed for this ride, the trip time, that is the amount of time the bike has been moving on this particular trip, the estimated range based on how much battery I have left, the level of assist I'm in, and my most recent riding. And of course an odometer showing me the overall distance that the bike has ridden. So you can also turn the lights on and off from here. And so I'll press the light button here. You can see it says lights on. And we've got a couple of really nice lights built into the bike. You can see the wiring is run through the frame, so it's really well integrated. It's very bright. We have a reflector as well. The great thing about the lights being integrated, I'll bring you around to the back here and show you right under the rack, nice bright light again with the integrated reflector. The great thing about having the lights run off of the main battery is that you don't have to worry about bringing your lights in to charge them. I often forget to do that, or having to worry about the battery running out and you being left in the dark. That is not a pleasant experience. So it's nice that these lights run right off of the main battery. You don't have to worry about running out of the battery, of course, because on your display here, like I was pointing out earlier, you do have your range calculator. So that's going to tell you how much distance that the bike thinks you have left, so you know you'll be able to make it home and adjust your pedaling and the level of assist accordingly to make it back. The other nice thing about having the lights built in, of course, is that you don't have to worry about taking them off, that they might be stolen or something like that when you're running into a store. If I accidentally leave my lights on, which I'm prone to do, the bike will eventually turn itself off if it's not moving, and thereby save the battery, so you don't have to worry about that as well. So the battery can be charged on the bike if you wish. There's a little flap down here. You open up, plug in the charger, you can charge it up. Or you can remove the battery from the frame and bring it inside and charge it in the house as well. One thing I forgot to mention when we were looking at the display here is the Bosch system also has shift detection. So when you change gears, it knows you're changing gears and will momentarily let off the power so that it becomes easier to change the gear without mashing the gears. And that's important with a standard derailleur, not as important with a hub system. But it also has shift recommendations. So on the display here, there'll actually be an up or down arrow that will light up when it thinks that you should shift to make more efficient use of the battery. And speaking of lighting up, I forgot to mention that the display is backlit, so when you're riding at night, you can see it quite well. Finally, before I talk about the rest of the features, I wanted to point out that this is one of the first Bosch e-bikes we've received that has the walk mode enabled. This is a fantastic feature. Basically, press and hold the little button up here, and on the display it's going to say Walk Assist Plus. Press and hold the plus button, and that's actually going to move the bike, there we go, at a walking speed so that you don't have to push the bike. That's a great feature if you're in a pedestrian area where you're having to walk the bike, and especially if you've got some heavy pannier bags or something like that. Then you simply press the button and it will move the bike along at about, I think about 4 or 5 kilometers an hour. A nice walking speed. All you have to do is point it in the right direction. You don't have to push it anymore. So that's a nice feature that we've been looking forward to on the Bosch systems, and this is one of the first ones that have that. When I rode the Nevo yesterday, I was impressed with how smooth of a ride it was. So part of that is we've got this Sun Tour fork up here on the front that you can lock if you wish, or leave open for a nice comfortable ride. We also have a suspension seat post, and that really helps smooth out the ride as well. And actually I really like this gel seat. You know, I often tell people when you're buying a bike, don't buy the bike based on the seat. It's easy enough to change the seat. But this is actually a really comfortable seat, but of course it's easy to change if you want to go with something else. So it's a nice gel seat, quite comfortable, especially with that suspension seat post. The other interesting thing that really smooths out this ride is we've got these Schwalbe Big Bend Plus balloon tires. And Schwalbe's done some interesting research on how effective these balloon tires are on reducing the effects of the bumpy roads and kind of the fatigue that can come from that. So if you felt like you'd like to ride more but you find it tiring, this is a great bike. Not only do you have the motor to help make riding easier, but you also have that level of comfort, smoothness, really not that bumpy, that really, you know, when you're riding a regular bike, you're always getting jarred around. It gets quite fatiguing, and this is a really nice smooth ride. So going back to these tires, they're nice and wide. Like I said, they're balloon tires, so they absorb a lot of the bumps and shocks on the road. But they also have the Performance Line Green Guard and Snakeskin walls. So what that does is it adds a lot of puncture resistance, so you don't have to worry about getting a flat tire. And you'll also see here this white strip is a reflective strip at night. If a car shines its lights on the side of your bike here, that's really going to light up, which is nice. So helps keep you safe and be seen, especially with the lights on the front and rear as well. Speaking of comfort, we've got some really nice grips here, and they're quite comfortable for riding, and of course you can adjust the angle on them there. We have the Magura MT4 hydraulic disc brakes. You can see the rotors up here. And it's really important to me that when you ride an e-bike, you should always get a bike with hydraulic disc brakes. I don't feel comfortable with people riding with mechanical disc brakes on an e-bike, because you have so much weight with the battery and the motor and so much speed that you really need to be able to stop when you need to stop and have the confidence that you can do so. So make sure you think about the brakes when you are buying an e-bike. So we also have a cafe lock here, or a frame lock. I guess is a technical term from ABUS. And what that does is that will basically, I'll come over to here, you can see I've got a key here. And incidentally, this key is the same key that removes the battery from the frame for bringing it inside for charging. So it's nice that you've only got one key that you need to worry about. So basically with this key, I can move the bar here through the rear wheel. Let me get the key back in. There we go. And it's a little bit hard to do with just one hand when I'm doing a video, but basically you'd slide this down. This brings a bar right across through the wheel here and locks your rear wheel from moving. So your bike can't be ridden away. Obviously it could be picked up and stolen. So, you know, they kind of call it a cafe lock because it's great if you're going to keep your eye on the bike. If you're at the beach or a cafe or a restaurant or whatever and you're sitting outside, you could just lock that up and keep your eye on it. But most of the time you're still going to want a regular frame lock to lock up the bike to something stationary. But by having the cafe lock, it's nice because now you've got your rear wheel locked. You just need to lock up your front rear wheel and the frame. So that's a nice feature as well. Back here, while we're looking at this lock, I should also point out the frame. You'll notice that the frame is actually built in, the rack. The rack is actually built into the frame. And it's very, very sturdy rack. And again, these little features that Riese Muller includes with their bike, that really just shows you the quality. We've actually got this high quality bungee cord that's built in or included here. You can remove it if you wish. And basically you can lift off here and it's adjustable as far as the height of it goes. So if you really have a big package up there, you can adjust that and then just lock that on. So it's a really nice bungee cord. You can see we've got a maximum load of 20 kilos on the rack, so nice and sturdy. It's also rack time compatible, so there's a lot of accessories, baskets and things like that that you can get for rack time compatible racks, and you can use that with this bike as well. So it's really easy to get on and off, obviously being the step-through frame. We've got the fenders, and these are really nice fenders integrated into the front and rear. It's nice they come from the factory all set up. You don't have to install them yourself. And so what that does is this really makes it a bike that you can just hop on. You don't have to worry about getting your cycling clothes on. You're not going to get dirty. There's a chain guard, although with the belt you're not going to have any worry about grease or anything like that. And so you can just hop on and ride. And a lot of times people are concerned about investing in an e-bike. They're not sure if they're really going to get a lot of use out of it. What we find is that once you have one, you just start riding it. You realize how easy it is to replace your car, how much fun it is to go riding, to go for exercise, to go exploring, hang out with friends, just for fun. You'll find that you're riding way more than you ever expected. And this is a great bike to really make that happen. If you're looking to get in better shape and just get outside more and enjoy life more, this is a great bike for you. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've got two models. We've got the two frame sizes, 3 different colors, so lots of options. You can get the Touring Edition, which includes the 10-speed Shimano cassette with the Shimano Dior XT shifters. I would really recommend that you consider going with the New Vinci version instead. It includes this New Vinci 380 continuously variable hub. That means it doesn't have steps like gears do. You can really just dial in the feel that you want. I can explain the benefits, and I will, but you really have to ride it to find out how awesome it is. Combined with this Gates belt here, it's such a smooth ride. It's really not like anything else. So to adjust the hub, and again, we don't really have gears. It's continuously variable, so you can choose anything in between. There's just this twist shift here. So you can see the little icon here of a cyclist on a hill. So right now I'm in my easiest gear, because if I were climbing a hill, I'd want it to be really easy gear. If I want to make it a little bit harder to pedal because I'm on a flat section, I just twist this and you can see the icon then goes flatter. So it's really very intuitive, very easy to figure out how to use, which is great because a lot of times people find that they can never remember which paddle to push and which gear they should be in, and sometimes they forget to downshift when you're stopping at a intersection. And the nice thing about the Nuvinci system is you can actually shift at a stop. So it is easier to shift if you let off a little bit on the pedals while you're riding, but if you stop at a stop sign and forgot to downshift, no problem. You can actually shift while it's stopped and you won't get grinding gears or that sort of thing. So it's fantastic, because I thought about this the other day. When I ride in town, I end up shifting hundreds of times with a regular derailleur system, coming up to an intersection like down there, right? And so I may have to stop, so I'll keep pedaling a little bit and shift while I'm braking, because I need to stop, but I also need to keep pedaling in order to shift, because I might need to be in easier gear, because I might have to stop at the intersection there. But as you can see, there's not that often that there's cars there, so I end up getting there, oh, I didn't need to shift because I can keep pedaling and keep going, so now I have to shift again. With a bike like this, with the Nuvinci on it, I don't have to bother shifting until I actually need to. So I can keep it in whatever gear I want. I get down to the stop sign, right? I have to stop, no problem. I can now still shift. On a regular bike, if you're stopped and you shift, you're going to get all that mashing of gears, and it's going to take a while before you can start pedaling again. With the Nuvinci, you can do that at any time. The other great thing about a hub is there is no maintenance. So if we take a look at here, there's nothing that needs to be adjusted, nothing that needs to be cleaned. With a cassette and derailleur, you need to keep that clean, you need to keep the jockey wheels clean, you need to keep the chain clean and well adjusted, or you'll have shifting problems. If your bike tips over and hits the derailleur, things might get out of adjustment or damaged, or you have to buy a new derailleur hanger, and that's a real pain. You also have to replace everything every few thousand kilometers. With the hub, there's nothing to adjust and nothing to clean or replace. They went with a belt drive here. You can see the little teeth. There's actually a groove right down the middle of it to keep it lined up with the grooves that you can see on the front cog there, which is really cool. We have a nice little aluminum bash guard here to protect your chain in the case of the Touring Edition, or the belt in case of the Nuvinci. So with the belt, you don't have to worry about a dirty chain, you don't have to oil it, you don't have to worry about it rusting. If you ride in the rain like I do, this is great, because I spend a lot of time maintaining my bikes. I'm always cleaning the chain, the derailleur, the cassette, adjusting things. I ride in all weather, all seasons, and so this bike for me is ideal. I get home and I'm done. I don't have to clean it, I don't have to adjust it, I don't have to worry about the chain rusting or anything like that. So that's, to me, well worth the $580 extra. It'll save me money in the long run, and in terms of having to buy new chains and new cassettes, but it also saves me a lot of time and really makes biking a lot more fun. Now, what's great about the Nevo is that Riese Muller have designed the frame specifically for a belt by using an elevated chainstay. So what that means is the chainstay here is actually above where the belt or the chain would go. That means that if you ever need to change the belt, you just drop the wheel off, put a new belt on. Most other frames, if you think about it and you look at pictures online or look at your bike, you'll notice that the chainstay is lower than the top of the chain or the belt. In a frame like that, you'd actually have to put a breaking point in the frame to take it apart to get the belt on and off, and of course that's really going to weaken your frame, and it's not something you might feel very happy about. So by using this elevated chainstay, they've been able to avoid that and make the bike really very stiff, very strong. And in fact, when you ride this bike, a lot of people hesitate about step-through frames because they've ridden one in the past and found that it, felt not very stiff, a little wibbly, wobbly. They found that it didn't handle well. You won't find that in this bike. I'd really encourage you to come and try it because it's really impressive. And part of that reason is, sure, we've got this really strong, stiff, elevated chainstay here, and by building the rack into the frame, again, that's really strengthened the bike. So I've noticed no flex. It handles like a regular bike, and it's very responsive. In fact, my wife said that this is the easiest bike she's ever ridden, and part of that is that Nuvinci system, which is fantastic. So there's a couple of things that I can't really show you in a video, like how awesome the bike is to ride. You'll just have to come and try it, especially with this Nuvinci hub. It's just a real pleasure. The second thing that's hard for me to show you is just the extreme attention to detail that Riese Muller has put into this. And that's really what you'd expect from a bike that is custom assembled by hand in Germany. So, for example, on the headset here, they've used one that has, there it is, it says block lock. So what that actually does is it prevents you from being able to turn your handlebars more than 90 degrees. So especially with a bike with a top tube, you're not worried about hitting the top tube or things like that, but you're not worried about your handlebars getting all messed up or the cables getting twisted around. You can only turn it 90 degrees. So it's just, little things like that. The wiring, as you can see, is all run through the frame over here, nice and clean. Same with on the back, coming out from within the frame. We've got this integrated kickstand, which is a really nice, sturdy, stable kickstand. Nice, comfortable commuting pedals. They're a little bit, they are grippy, but they don't have pins that are gonna, tear up your shins. And they're a little bit rubbery and soft, which is nice. So lots of attention to detail, like I said, including the bungee on the rack and that sort of thing. So it's really well-made, fun bike to ride. So I'm gonna do a short little test ride video, and if you head over to our website at CitrusCycles.ca, I'll post a longer video there for you as well. And if you want to try it out, give us a call, head over to our website. We'd be happy to have you ride it. If I've missed pointing anything out, or you have any questions about this or any of the other e-bikes that we carry, just contact me and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for us. And of course, we're also on Facebook and you can check us out there. So this is the Nevo from Riese and Muller with the Bosch Performance Line CX 500 watt-hour battery, step-through frame, and I'm Kelly with CitrusCycles.ca.
Okay, so getting on the Nevo, of course, is very easy. We've got this nice wide step through here, quite low, easy to straddle the bike. And since I've got the New Vinci edition here, I've got the New Vinci continuously variable hub. And since I'm starting out, I can, of course, shift while I'm stopped, which is awesome. And see, I'm going to twist it here so it looks like I'm going up a hill. That's going to make it really easy for starting out. And I'll put it on tour on the Bosch display here and just start pedaling. And as I pedal and it gets easier to pedal and my legs start moving too quickly, I simply twist the little dial here. You can see it's leveling out. And there we go. Now I've got a really nice cadence. It's such a quiet bike, especially with the Gates belt drive there. If I actually turn off the motor, pedal, do that again, away from the wind, you can't hear anything. It's completely silent. And really, without the assistance of the motor, it's really easy to pedal. It's great, and the hub still works here, no problem. Normally at a stop like this, I would have had to downshift because I don't want it to be too hard to start pedaling, especially since I've got a hill here. But again, with this New Vinci system, while I'm stopped, I can simply say, oh, need a little bit of easier pedaling here. I've got a bit of a hill or I'm starting out, and there we go. Alright, so that's the Nevo from Riese Muller. For all the details, to order it, to try it, head over to our website, CitrusCycles.ca. You want to see a full ride test of it, I'll have a video up there as well showing various terrain, including some gravel roads. So head on over to CitrusCycles.ca.